Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome back. Yeah, so this week's video is going to be a little bit different.
A little bit different
than usual. We've been parked up in Mandurah for, I don't know now.
This is the fourth week, right?
4 weeks?
This is the fourth week.
Yeah, okay. 4 weeks. Been parked up in Mandurah. We're doing a house sit here and been busy working. Oh my.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my
been
stars.
doing
My Lord, my stars. We're working so hard.
so hard. Yeah, I've been working like 12, 15-hour days a lot of the time.
Big days.
Not every single day, but big days. Haven't had much chance to do a lot of filming, to be honest, but haven't had much chance to do much more than work, if I'm honest. And then Grant flew back to Sydney for 2 weeks.
Just to see some family and some friends and check up on some stuff, and then, yeah. Back.
Yep. And then, yeah, I was here with the dogs, and now Grant's back. It's great. And
She missed me.
I did.
Well, that's what she says anyway.
I did. And yeah, so we were trying to think about what we were going to film for today, and I remembered that we had filmed a Q&A. It was probably last year in September, and it never got used. We filmed it for somebody else and they never ended up using it, so I thought let's repurpose that content. And
in other words, we ran out of stuff to use, so we dug deep into the archives and found this.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's already been done, and yeah, may as well use it.
So it's a Q&A, so it's still good. So yeah, so we'll tack that on here, and you can enjoy the Q&A. But we do have a couple of things which we're not going to talk about today that are happening or in progress. So we will talk about those
in the next fortnight video.
Yeah, in the next fortnight video. And because I've been working so much, we are going to drop down to fortnightly videos at the moment. If we can do more, we'll put more up. But probably fortnightly will be the way to go. So just make sure that, you know, if you haven't already, if you watched a couple of our videos and you like us, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because then you'll get a notification when we do post, so then you won't miss out on anything.
Because who knows, it might be big.
Ooh.
It might be boring. But at least you'll know.
Yeah, exactly. It could be some really exciting news, or it could be Grant and I laughing at each other in a cave. Maybe. Who knows?
Or me cleaning out Baxter's hair out the back of the car.
Yeah. So.
And or Caravan.
Whatever we end up.
And my beard.
Whatever we feel like filming is what we'll get through, and we do have a couple of little, hopefully, camping trips that we can go on, and some other things. Something that we've been waiting on for a very long time for the Caravan has arrived.
It's here.
So, not on the Caravan yet, but soon.
Stay tuned, guys.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Be patient for a little bit longer, like we have been.
Exactly. So yeah, just subscribe or hit the notification bell so you can get reminded when we post, and yeah, enjoy our Q&A. Why did you decide to do a big lap? We had this in our mind for a long time, for probably 3 or 4 years, and we were trying to figure out a way to make this work and how we'd actually be able to get on the road. And I mean, not necessarily because of COVID, but I think it also enabled it. But I actually was made redundant from work last year, in September last year. And that kind of gave us the big push in our bum to get out and see the country. And
We've
Yeah.
done small trips before,
Yeah.
and we've come back with almost like a travelling hangover. You know, we've just yearned to do more, and it just wasn't enough. No matter, like, we had 7 weeks on the road once, and that wasn't enough.
Yeah, we were very depressed when we had to go back to work.
Yeah, post-travel depression.
I know. So we've been, since that big trip, we have done other ones, but since that big trip, we really wanted to try and find a way to make this
Our lifestyle
our lifestyle and make it work for us, and then being made redundant really just
helped us do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
definitely. So where are we currently and what route are we taking? Okay, so we're currently at...
Lake Caravan.
I'm not attempting to say that.
Big word. Tongue twister. But it's a phenomenal little spot.
Yeah, so we're at a free camp that we found on Wiki Camps. It's about an hour and a half east of Coober Pedy. Where are we heading is right now is towards William Creek and the Unadilla track, and then down into the Flinders, and then we're going to make our way across into WA if the borders let us go through.
Yeah.
What is your setup?
We drive a 200 series 2014 200 series Landcruiser. It seems to do the trick. It's towing a 20-foot Bushtracker Caravan.
2003?
2003. It's pretty much our dream setup so far. We got very lucky, I think.
Yeah, works really well for us.
Yeah.
Yep. Where do you generally stay? Caravan parks, free camps, or both? Yeah, we generally stay in free camps where we can. We stay off grid as much as possible, as long as our batteries allow us to.
Yeah. And
probably once a week, once every 8 to 10 days, we'll stop at a powered site. Generally, we will try to find a powered site that is not a caravan park. We just don't love the caravan parks that you get like crammed into and you walk out your door and you're basically walking into your neighbour. Yeah, I mean, caravan parks have their place. When we need to do washing, the laundry, things like that, perfect. When I want to have a long shower and wash my hair, perfect. But generally speaking, free camps for us, or like, off-grid camping. What is the best camping spot?
Such a hard one because we've been to so many places that we've gone, man, what a spot.
Yeah.
And Australia's chock-a-block full of them. The ones that sort of come to mind for us that we've been to so far, for me, the best area is probably the Victorian High Country. But we've been to campsites that are pretty good, eh?
And they all have their different things that we love about them. So this campsite that we're at now is beautiful. I would never have thought there was a lake that actually had water on it in the middle of the desert near Coober Pedy.
It's not like yeah.
Or we could be an amazing beach camp somewhere like Port Gibbon on the Eyre Peninsula in South Australia. Amazing.
Pavanaroo Lake in the Menindee Lake system. That was incredible.
Outback New South Wales near Broken Hill.
Yeah. And even Almerta Station, we stayed there in the southern Flinders.
Yeah.
That was very, very pretty.
Yeah.
It had such a great vibe, we had these big, beautiful dried up riverbed that was just pretty much set up for ourselves, and we had, a secluded little campfire, and mate, it was magic. So
I think
there's so many places. We can't just say one.
I can't name one, and everything has their something special about them.
Yes.
Whether it's like we were able to have this amazing campfire and that's what made it charming, or the beautiful scenery, or there's so many places in Australia. It's hard to name one. That's like a hard question. Where is the best place you've ever been, and why was it so amazing?
Again, I'd have to say the high country. Yeah. I'm going to call it. Yeah, the high country. I grew up with reading Banjo Patterson and, watching them, like, the Man from Snowy River movies. And
I've not seen it.
anyway, so we went there, and the history down there is incredible. The feeling of the bush, and then, the views you get up on the mountains, and it's just amazing. The high country.
It was beautiful, and we spent 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks traveling through, and we just had our old car, which was a 76 series Landcruiser, and a rooftop tent. And it was a great experience, and we travelled with Grant's parents through there, and it was, I think, that travelling with great people also makes a place amazing.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Too. Like it also depends on what you do in that place, because all places are pretty good.
Yeah.
And the company you're with.
Yeah.
So if you could be in a bit of a dust bowl, but if you're with a great group that just makes the experience 100%, then it's going to be a great place to camp.
Is there a place that you won't go back to?
Coober Pedy.
Yeah, we think we won't go back to Coober Pedy.
It's not really my cup of tea. Like, sorry if you like it. That's just my opinion. There's nothing there that makes me want to go back.
Yeah,
I'm glad I went to see it.
Yeah, it's
definitely go and see it.
It's one of those places you go and see. It's unique. It is interesting. Do we need to go back again? No.
No, seen it.
We've done it.
Yeah.
It's ticked. That's it. We don't need to come back.
I'd probably put Canberra in that basket too. Sorry.
Where can't you wait to go? I think, so for us, where we can't wait to go it's probably the northern WA and Northern Territory. So all the top end.
Yeah.
We've already travelled through a lot of Queensland, a lot of New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia already. And we've done the lower half of WA previously. So that's one of the places that we haven't been yet and we really want to get to.
I've got to say Litchfield and Kakadu.
Yeah.
I've been...
And the Gib.
Oh, the Gib River Road, yeah, for sure. But I've been chomping at the bit to get up there since forever. Yeah. So, can't wait.
So hopefully we can get into WA and we can go explore. Do you travel with a pet and does it restrict you? Yes.
Yes, we do travel with pets.
We have 2 dogs. So Frank is a French Bulldog cross Staffy, and Baxter is a Labrador, a yellow Labrador. And does it restrict us? A little bit.
Yeah, it does.
So obviously we can't go into national parks unless we either, one, leave the dogs in the caravan while we go in there, or find someone to look after them. It does make it a little bit more difficult to go out and see experiences, because we do have to leave them behind in the van, provided that, we're in a spot that we can do that. We can leave them and go out and go do a tour or something like that and come back, or go into the shops. But you need to think about where you're going and what can you do, or are there baits around where we're going to camp, things like that. So
very vigilant, about and mindful of your settings and where you are, whatever. But if we do go out, we tend to they're kind of a good security measure, because they sound beefier than they actually are, which deters people or keeps people away, which is nice. Yeah. But what we try to do is we take them for a big walk
beforehand.
Before we go out, we wear them out. They fall asleep, and they're usually awake by the time we get back.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it.
Tell us about a scary or funny time on the road.
Going down Bread Eye?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So that was pretty nerve-wracking and scary for Grant. Was in this van with our car. And actually, if I do one step back before that, it was when we picked up the van, and the van to start with was we purchased our van secondhand from an old Italian bloke in Batlow. And it's a bit hilly through there as well, and we were coming back and we realised that the electric brakes on the van were not connected ever. So it is an old van from 2003. So they had never connected them up because it wasn't a requirement back then. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking when we realised that they weren't working. And then the second time was when we were coming down Brett Eye, which is in New South Wales, out the back of Gloucester. And it is a very, very steep mountain, which we didn't realise we were...
It's the end of the Great Dividing Range, so it's incredibly steep. It's a long descent, and many, many people have had brown moments or worse, have actually, lost their lives from that strip.
We were coming down through there, and so we'd had the brakes fixed on the van, and we had our tow pro installed into the car by an electrician, auto electrician, and they still really weren't working.
So what happened? The module, the tow pro, actually, it works on inertia. It has to be installed onto the wall of the vehicle, something sturdy, something that's going to...
Fixed.
Yeah, to measure the inertia of the vehicle. Well, it was zip tied to the footwell air conditioning vent, which is just sort of doing this. So inertia is not being measured at all, and it's actually not really activating the brakes.
And you're not supposed to use zip ties. The very first instruction is do not use zip ties.
Yeah. So we found that out towards the end, and we got down to the bottom unscathed just. The brakes faded, and we were very, very fortunate. But we got down there on the grace of the actual the braking capacity of the 200 series. They've got 12-inch discs all around, and they are... the thing could stop a moon.
Yeah.
But probably just for a split second. But stopping a Bushtracker, 20-foot Bushtracker behind it, a long hill.
Yeah.
Mate, it was... I was grabbing all the gears. And
it was a bit unnerving to do that. And, I mean, we have promptly fixed the issue with the tow pro. Not gone back to the auto electrician again, and we had to have all our brake pads replaced.
Yeah,
that
was fun. But anyway, live and learn.
Exactly. So if you do get it installed, just double check where they put it and how they've installed it. Tell us about an item that you can't live without.
Probably our coffee machine.
Yeah.
I'd say it just makes the experience of waking up in the middle of nowhere just that little bit better in the morning, huh?
I think so. I mean, previously we never really worried about travelling with a coffee machine. We would just have those sachet coffees.
Yeah.
And we would just make them in the morning. But living full-time in the van and having a decent coffee, if you like coffee, I think it's definitely something I wouldn't compromise on.
Mm-hmm.
And our machine is only the little DeLonghi Delica. It weighs nothing, it takes up no space, but makes a really good coffee.
Great coffee, actually.
Yeah. Tell us how you fund your big lap. So we basically fund our big lap because I was made redundant from work. So I got a bit of a payout on that, which gave us some initial funds to hit the road and start travelling. We've basically been on the road since February, which has been about 6 months, but we have worked for 3 months of that. So we travelled for 3 months, and then we stopped and worked for 3 months, and now we're travelling again. So we stopped and worked before we actually really needed to, because we didn't want to be in a position where we needed to find work and we couldn't find any.
Yeah.
And it was peak season, so we decided to do that now rather than later, knowing that we're going to be travelling for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
But that's basically how we fund it, is we will stop and get a job. and do some working when we want to, when we need to.
When we need to.
How much do you spend, and what is your biggest expense? I would say we spend around about $1,000 a week. That is also including our insurances, and we rented our house back in Sydney. We didn't sell our house, we rented it, so there's a portion of the mortgage that we still need to cover, plus landlord insurance, etc., so that we still need to cover those expenses. So we probably spend maybe about $800 a week on fuel and food and accommodation and things that we need while we're actually travelling.
It does fluctuate a bit, give or take.
You know, if we travel a bit slower, then we need less fuel. If we are in more free spots, then we need less accommodation. Food is generally always the same. We still need to eat whether we're here or there. We don't eat out very often, to be honest. We have had some moments where we've been in like Harndorf and we ate out probably about 6 times.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, we don't eat out. So
we don't want for anything though. We can make pretty much whatever we want, wherever we want.
Yeah, we can whip up. I've made macarons.
Just made macarons.
In our oven in the Caravan because my niece wanted to make them.
Yeah.
I made Grant an amazing birthday cake in our oven. We can make pretty much whatever we want. What's something you know now but didn't know before you left?
How nice people can be.
Yeah, I think that's a big one.
You know, the capacity that people have to be just genuinely kind, you know. And
helpful and nice. I guess the reason we're saying that is, you know, I mean, not just because we lived in Sydney, but we lived in Sydney. I worked corporate, travelled on the train for like 3 hours a day. It's just like rush mentality in Sydney, and everybody is they're busy doing their own thing and nobody stops to think about anybody else or to help anybody else. So you kind of get that, you know, sense that people are not super friendly. And then we've been travelling around and all we have met is really nice, friendly people who go, oh, I've caught, you know, more fish than I need. Here, have some of my whiting. So you can cook dinner or, you know, come over and join us for a drink over here. Or just people have been really lovely. Yeah. That's the biggest surprise that we've found.
Yeah, if you need help, you'll get it pretty much, you know, particularly if you're open to getting the help.
Yeah.
And also how much there is to see and how not scary it is. You know, like if you're prepared, you know, and you're open to advice and help, then, mate, it's so easy to see. It can be challenging, but it's the best thing we've ever done.
What's your favourite thing about travelling?
I think for me it's variety. You know, like you get to see things, you get to experience things, but it's more about, for me, variety. You know, like I love the desert, but I love the beach too. I like to go fishing. So we'll come out here, you know, put our Kubras and our RMs on, we'll go into the outback and have a great time.
Yeah.
And then we'll drive down to the coast and put my pluggers and my boardies on and go for a flick.
Yeah.
You know, why? Because we can.
And I think it's like you have things made up in your mind that you expect certain places to look a certain way, or like the Nullarbor, everybody's just said, oh, well, that's the most boring road you can ever drive on. But it's not. I totally disagree. And it's looking at how the scenery changes, and it goes from nothing to these trees that are all bent over a certain way because that's the way the wind blows, and just noticing that stuff and taking the time to actually notice it.
Yeah, and without getting corny or whimsical, as sort of, you know, nature itself, you know, seeing the wildlife and, you know, how the environment changes. We've got such a diverse country, and it's, you know, you'd be silly not to come and see it.
Yeah. What has been your biggest splurge? So apart from actually buying the car and the caravan,
that would
be the biggest. You set up costs, so you're going to be your biggest splurge. But actually travelling on the road, our biggest splurge so far has been an oyster tour that we did in Coffin Bay. We waded out into the water and sat in sat in the middle of the oyster farm, and we got to chuck and taste oysters and drink champagne, and
it was pretty rough.
And that wasn't even a massive expense. That was probably about $140 for both of us.
Yeah, no regrets.
Definitely,
do it again.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
and definitely do that again.
Yeah.
Is there anything that brought with you that you don't use as much as you thought?
Probably our external kitchen, but we just haven't. Or our rooftop tent. We bought. Well, firstly, the rooftop tent. We bought that to sort of leave the caravan and the dogs and go somewhere remote that we can't really take the caravan, and or a national park where we can't take the dogs. So it's good to have that other option. We didn't really like to carry a swag. Swags can get stolen, and, you know, I mean, if someone wants to take the rooftop tent and they do manage to take it, well, they've probably earned it, because it's not going to be an easy job. So that's sort of why we bought that. The external kitchen, we've been in South Australia. It's too bloody windy here.
Can't use it. South Australia's too windy to use it, but hopefully we can use it again soon. So we've used it a couple of times, but not too many. And the rooftop tent we haven't used at all yet in 6 months, but we did work for 3 months of those 6, and hopefully we will get some use out of it at some stage. But we knew that it would be a little while before we actually got some use out of that, but we wanted to have it just in case. We haven't
used our camp stove in the back of the car either, but because we haven't left the van. So there are a few things, but
I think I would still bring them.
I would still bring them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Were we affected by lockdown? Not really.
No.
We were working when SA had its 7-day lockdown, so we still were able to work. We reduced the hours that we were working. But like travel-wise, no. Apart from having to wait to get into borders, across borders, so and just being aware to look up what passes you need and things like that. But because we're travelling for an extended period, it doesn't matter to us if we wait for an extra couple of weeks in a state before we cross over to the other state.
That's right.
So not really.
We try to read the waters too, so if we see that things are going to go pear-shaped again, we'll just see if we can find a station somewhere and pick up some work, and may as well use that time to earn some dosh.
And then what is our biggest tip?
For me, it's being open to experiences.
Yeah.
You know, just for example, Bianca's not into trains. I am. We were in Peterborough, and there was Steamtown, and I went in there and did the museum and, you know, read every single thing in there. She'd rather, cop a boot to the face.
Yeah.
But there was a night tour thing, like a steam show, and she went to that with me, and
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
That was great.
I was a bit the same with like the Opal Mine tour in Cooper Pedy. Like that's not my thing. I just don't see the big deal. That's just me. But I went there and I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I went. So being open to experiences.
Yeah. And for my biggest tip is really about trying to get yourself out here and travel. If you want to travel, find a way to make it happen. So you can come up with all the excuses in the world. So we were doing that, like, oh, we've got the dogs, we should wait until we don't have them, so they're 8. I'm like, do we wait a couple of years till unfortunately they have passed away, and then we go travelling. No, you can't just put things on hold like that. So just find a way, go out there and experience it, and do it in a way that you can.
Yeah.
So we are
sustainable way.
A sustainable way, yeah. And do it within your means. So don't buy the biggest and the best thing if you can't afford to have that. So you're probably better off buying something that's cheap and having more money to fund your trip than to continue buying the best of the best type of thing. And also, you can always stop and work, and you can always get more money. The thing you can't get more of is time.
100%.
So if you want to do this now,
stop talking about it.
Get out, do it. You can always stop and work along the way. And if you're open to doing any type of job, you'll find work.
There is so much work going on. Like, I personally don't give a crap if I scrub a toilet or if I drive heavy machinery. I can do it all. Yeah. But I don't care if I do one or the other, as long as I'm earning money to stay on the road.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Yeah. So just find a way and get out there and live your dreams now.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
You won't regret it.
No. So that's a little bit of the intro into us. If you do want to know more about us and the way we travel and living like kings, check out our Instagram, Facebook or YouTube channel, all under Living Like Kings. Thank you.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching.